Hey guys, it's Miss Hall. I'm the art teacher at East York and Yorkshire Elementary Schools, and today I wanted to show you how to make a mixed media landscape. What I love about this project is that you can use any tools that you have at your house, and you can make it into any kind of landscape you want. If you wanted it to be a beach, if you wanted it to be a sunset or a sunrise, if you wanted it to be a mountain, if you wanted there to be buildings in it, that's great. We know that a landscape is an image that shows a large space in nature. So it can include people, it can include buildings, but we just want to show a large amount of space. For mine, I used markers, water, paintbrushes, and that was about it. You can tape off these edges, that's totally optional. If you don't have any tape, that's no big deal. If you'd like to use watercolors instead of markers and you have those at your house, please be my guest. And I'm looking forward to see what kind of experiments y'all come up with. So let's all jump in.
All right, so to get this landscape started, I gathered all of my materials. Some of them you need and some of them are optional, and a lot of them you can sub out for other things. So what I did is I took my piece of paper. I have some kind of like a medium thickness paper. You could do this with computer paper, but I would just maybe practice with some of your materials first, because sometimes because computer paper is so thin, it can kind of buckle. But if you've got sketchbook paper or something like that, that would be great. I did tape mine down. You could tape it down to your table. This is totally optional. I just like it because it gives me a nice clean line and it keeps my paper from bending too much. But if you don't have any tape, it's no big deal. Totally skip it. You can do that as well. I'm going to be showing you how to do this using markers. You could also do this sky with watercolors or colored pencils. The only thing I maybe would not use today would be crayons, just because they're made of wax, and when we move on to the next parts of our project, that might not work out very well. So I'm going to show you how to create kind of a watercolor effect using these markers. I picked these colors because I wanted it to be sort of a nighttime theme. But you could do any colors you want. You can make it like a sunset and do like oranges and pinks and reds. You could do just a bright blue sky. That totally works just fine. I will say that these Crayola brand ones I know work well, and these are a pretty standard brand of markers. If you have a different type of marker, you might want to experiment with it first just to make sure that it works. And if it doesn't work with the water, no big deal. Try something else or just adapt. It's not a problem at all. So what I'm going to do is I want to fill this whole rectangle with my nighttime kind of sky colors. So what I'll do is I'll take my marker and I'm going to have it on its side. And I'm just going to start by filling in just a patch of my sky. And while that marker is still kind of wet, I'm going to pick up a paintbrush. All my paintbrush has on it is water, and you'll see that that water activates the ink in the marker. And it spreads it out really, really nicely. So I'm going to keep on going with that blue because I really want to fill the whole thing in. Nice and blue, nice and dark. Get some water, give it a spread. I'm kind of going in like a circular motion. Because I just want to fill it in. I'm going to go back over top with more colors here in a minute. Right now, I just want to fill the whole thing in blue. And notice that I'm coloring right over that tape. If you chose to use tape, cool. If you didn't, that's fine too, but you can color right over it. Notice that I'm working pretty quickly because I don't want my ink to dry up. I'm doing it in patches and then filling it in, going in a circular motion. All right, now I've got the whole thing filled in blue. Now I'm going to go back in and add in some purple and some black because I want it to look kind of like a cloudy night sky. And the water isn't bad for the markers at all because the markers are actually made mostly of water. I'm being careful though. I am getting a lot of water on my paper, but if you notice that your paper is starting to like rip or pill up, I would maybe stop for a minute, let your paper dry. If you put too much water on your paper, there's a good chance that it could rip. And if you do have a piece of paper that rips, I would say just take it up, try again. It's no big deal. It's all a learning experience. Now I'm going to go in here with some black. All right. And now I've got my night sky. I'm going to let this dry for probably about 30 minutes or so, and then I'll come back and I will add the landscape on top of it. All right, so I left my marker sky to dry. It's totally dry right now. And now we're going to go in and add the landscape on top of it. I'm going to add some stars to my sky because I just thought that would look nice. I'm using a little bit of white paint for this. If you don't have any white paint, skip this step. It's no big deal. Or you could totally go back in and do this with colored pencil or crayon as well. So what I'm doing is I have just a little bit of white paint on my paintbrush, and I want to kind of have this galaxy look. So what I'll do is I'm going to hold my paintbrush in my hand. I'm going to use my finger to pull back on my paintbrush and let it flick. Some of them made more like shooting stars. If you get one like this that kind of spreads a little bit too much, you can actually just take your finger and pull it. Now you got a shooting star. Pretty cool, huh? Beautiful. All right, I could also take this if I wanted to. I'm going to go in and actually add a moon. I think I want this to be a crescent moon. So I'm just going to do a C shape. Fill that in. Again, if you don't have any paint, you could totally just do this in colored pencil or crayon or whatever you'd like to do. No big deal. Beautiful. All right, now let's go in and add the landscape. So for this, all right, so for the landscape part of this, like I said, I'm using a black marker. You could use paint as well. Or crayon would probably work too, but black is important because we want it to look like it's like a silhouette, like it's like a nighttime or a sunset silhouette. And silhouette means that all the landscape is in black because all the light is behind it. What I love about this part is that you can really customize this and make it unique to you. If you want it to look like a beach at night, you could do palm trees. If you want it to look like there's birds in the sky, you can add those. That's totally up to you. I'm going to do some simple evergreen trees for right now. So to do an evergreen tree, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a straight line down, and then I'm going to draw branches coming out to the side. I want to make sure to really keep the point to my tree, just on a diagonal. Right, just like that. I'm going to go through and add a few more. I can make some that are bigger, some that are smaller, some that are farther away. I want it to look like you're looking up at the sky in the woods. You could also go in and add different types of trees. So if I wanted to, I could add some, if this is the trunk, then maybe I have some big tree branches. And whenever you make a tree branch, I just do a wiggly line, and then I let those branches branch off. Some are little twigs, some are big branches. I draw my big branches and then I go in and add my little twigs. Then I go in and fill this in black. Very cool. Maybe we could add a bird in the branch. Kind of creepy looking. I like it. I'm into it. All right. So mine, I'm going to keep really nice and simple for right now. You guys could go in and add lots of different details if you wanted to. More animals, more trees. You can totally make that up to you. But that is the end of our layering process. We started with the sky, added on some stars. You could do clouds if you wanted to as well. Added in some trees, and now it looks like we're looking out at a night sky. So make sure to click the link in the learning menu so that way you can add your finished project to the Flipgrid. And while I'm explaining that, I'm actually going to pull this tape off. Remember I said earlier that the tape is totally not required. If you have any tape, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. But what I really, really like about the tape for watercolor and anything involving water is that it gives you this really cool, nice, clean line. Just makes it look really, really nice and finished. So that is your mixed media landscape.